Welcome to Humble Point Marina. There's various parking spaces dotted around the marina, but you'll find our office located adjacent to the Kite rigger. We look forward to welcoming you on your charter.
Having picked up your boat, it's going to have details of where the boat is located, the marina gate code and the marina Wi-Fi code. There's going to be some details about the yacht here, along with what we would want you to do at the end of your charter. There's a useful information pack or sheet detailing some useful information that you might need during your charter. One of the really key things is our office hours number and the out of hours number, and also sea starts number. Then you've got the actual details of the boat and your handover paperwork. So when you go down to the boat, you just need to make a note of any scuffs or scratches that you can see on the outside of the yacht, and any notes that you have to do with the inside of the yacht, just mark on here. Once you're happy with that, a little signature. Run through the inventory on the boat. The red items are your safety stuff. Once you've been through this, and it does go on to 2 pages, ring the office and our fleet team will come down and talk you through from the pontoon anything else that you need to know. On the return of the charter, make sure that you're here an hour, 90 minutes to an hour before you're due to exit the yacht. There's some reminders in here about how we like the boat left. Let us know if you have refueled. In the joining instructions there's some details about the new requirements for refueling at MDL, so please do make sure that you follow those. Let us know if you've used the dinghy or if you've changed the gas, and then let us know if you've got any losses, breakages, damages or defects on your yacht. Just pop those in there. We do like to know about any defects so that we can make sure that we can fix them. And then once you're happy with that, a little signature. So when you're coming up to the office, you will we'll also work through all of your paperwork with regard to your security deposit and any additional paperwork that we've asked you to bring. If you need any optional extras, please, we do ask that you've ordered these in advance to make sure that we have them ready for you. Otherwise, and paid for in advance. Otherwise, we can sort those out while you're in the office and make sure that you've got everything and all the paperwork's taken care of.
Okay, so when you finish with Alex in the office, done your paperwork, when you come down to the boat, go on the boat and go to the red Bible first, which will be on the chart table, and make sure you go through all of the inventory to check that everything is there, paying special attention to what's written in red, because that is your safety equipment. Once you're happy with everything, then you can give the office a call and one of us will come down for you to sign the paperwork and to answer any of your questions, or anything you cannot find that's on the inventory we will find for you. So if you've got any questions, then we can answer all your questions and also give you tips on the best way of taking the boat out from the berth. Hi, my name's Andy. I'm one of the fleet engineers. So when you first come down to your boat, on the chart table will be a red folder. This is what I call the boat Bible. In the folder will be all the information about the boat and all the certificates needed on the boat for charter. So when we first open the book, it will have obviously the boat name, and then obviously the boat notes and ship's papers. On the next page will be the yacht specification. which gives you the yacht name, type of boat it is, year of build, the lengths, drafts, beams, also call signs, MMSI number, cell number, and also importantly the diesel capacity and water capacity, especially if you're doing any long passages. On the next page we have 2 pages which is telling you where all the equipment is you need to know on the boat, as in batteries, engine, how to start, stop, where the shut-off valves are, obviously where the emergency tiller, life raft, how to use the water tanks, the anchor windlass, and also the mainsail, how many reefs it's got, storm jib, and the helm. So all the information about the boat is on these 2 pages. On the next page we have a diagram showing you where all the through hull fittings are, as in head sinks, outlets, toilet inlets, speed transducers, so you know if you get any leaks on the boat, have a look round by where the through hull fittings are or anything like that. On the next page, which is an important one, is one again showing you where all the safety equipment is on board and where it's stowed. Next to that we have another copy of the inventory, but do pay close attention to what's in red, because that is all your safety equipment that is on board, and it tells you exactly where it is. On the next page we start going then through the boat papers. So it's just all the standard builder certificates, schedules, but an important one is your compass deviation card. So if you are doing any long passages, you just need to know the deviations for the compass. Apart from that, it is just all the certificates for all the safety equipment, and shows you that they're all in date and they've all been tested. Right, on Red Kite we have the battery switches, which are in the aft cabin, as there's only one aft cabin on this boat. So we have engine start battery, domestic battery. This key here, which is switched off, is a link switch between the 2 batteries. So if your engine start battery goes flat, you can switch that on. That will connect the engine battery and the domestic battery together, so you can start your engine. But otherwise this is normally in the off position until you need to use it. Right, on Red Kite the electrical panel is obviously by the nav desk. So on this side we have anchor light, then we have steaming light, bow and stern light, and deck light. This is interior lights. This is just the panel light here for this gauge here. This is the instruments, and this one is the VHF. On this side we have a bilge pump. The bilge pump is automatic as long as it's in the A position. In the middle is completely off, or over to the M is manual override. So we always leave it in automatic because it's on a float switch, so any water that goes in the bilge will be pumped out. This one is a fresh water pump, and this one is for the power to the autopilot. This one is a fridge, and this one is not used, it's a spare. Then we have 2 12-volt sockets here. This switch here, that isolates the VHF cockpit speaker, so in the evenings if you want to listen to any weather forecasts, switch that off and the rest of the marina don't have to hear it. Then over here we have a high bilge pump alarm. So in the middle it's a rocker switch, so in the middle is off. To arm it, we press it on at the bottom. That will arm the system. So if the bilge pump fails to work, what will happen then when the water builds up and gets to a higher level, it will send this alarm off. If you go switch it off and then press it from the top, you will test to see if the alarm works. So that's the sound I hope you don't have to hear. But make sure whenever you're on the boat, it's always in the armed position. Right, on Red Kite we have a Volvo engine. So it's a key start. So the key goes in, turn on the ignition, and as you can see the fuel gauge comes up, so we're full of fuel. If I turn it slightly a little bit more, that will just put the glow plug on. No more than 7 seconds on the glow plug, and then turn the key to start. For stopping the engine, it comes straight up into neutral, and then we get the key, turn it all the way to the left until the engine stops, and then you can take the key out. Right, while the engine's running, we have 3 warning lights on the bottom. They will only come on if there's a problem. The 3 lights will be, the first one would be a picture of a battery. If that comes on, that means there is obviously something wrong with your alternator, but it could be that you shredded a auxiliary belt. Now, so if that goes off, go to the engine and check that the auxiliary belt is still going round. If the auxiliary belt is gone, please stop the engine, because that belt drives the freshwater cooling pump for the engine, so the engine will overheat. If you don't shut the engine down, the next light you will see come on will be a picture of a thermometer, which will be the overheating alarm. There's 2 ways it will overheat. Is one with the freshwater cooling, which is the antifreeze, or if you get a blocked inlet or the impeller goes, then the cooling water that cools down the fresh water, if you stop, the only way you see that is if you get you stop hearing the water coming out the exhaust. The other one will be a picture of an oil can, and that means loss of oil pressure. So with those 2 going off, you immediately, the overheat or oil, shut the engine down straight away. And if it's just the battery, check to see if the auxiliary belt is still in condition and it's turning the alternator. It may be just the alternator's gone down, but it could be that you shredded the auxiliary belt, and that drives the cooling water as well. Right, as Red Kite has tiller steering, we do have a tiller pilot. So for all the people that's not used to it, it's quite simple. This pin here fits into the hole onto the seating. Then you have a pin hole here, which fits into the pin on the tiller, like so, and it just sits there. Then we plug it in, and the socket only goes in one way. And now we are on. So on the top you will have your heading of where the boat is heading at the moment. So if we want to engage the autopilot, we just press auto, and then whatever degrees is on the screen, that's where you're heading. So if you want to change it, you've got -10 and +10, -1 and +1. So if I want to go 10 degrees, I will move it. If I want to go 10 degrees to starboard, I will push +10. If I want to go 10 degrees to port, I'll do -10. Or you can do it in ones. To then disengage it, it's just a case of pressing the standby button and pull it off the tiller. Right, the reefing system on Red Kite is a standard 3 reef reefing system with the ram's horns on the gooseneck, so it is a standard reefing system. It's not single line. On the jib is not a furling jib. The forestay is fitted with a tough luff, so you need to raise and lower the jib. You cannot furl it away.